This is going to be new for CONA. I'm starting at 7 o'clock now because I don't have the slamming door issue to deal with. It used to be that because we video our meetings, that I always waited 10 minutes to start the meeting when the last straggler came in because the door slammed all the time and came up in the video.
It's ready to go.
Welcome to the November 8, are you on? Okay. Welcome to the November 8, 2019 meeting of CONA, Sarasota County Council of Neighborhood Associations. I'm Kathy Benz and I'm the president. On our website, we've got a lot of pages, and our meetings page has a calendar for the year, so you can always see what's coming up. Even if you get our announcements, it's always good to double check just in case there's been a change. We also have two different kinds of resource pages. One is related to meeting topics, and one is related to government information. And the meeting topics page also has a lot of different resources with links to further information about things that we've had meetings on. Our meeting announcements are forwarded by the representative to CONA from your neighborhood association. If you're not getting our announcements by email, let me know, because perhaps your representative isn't distributing in the way we planned it. Our membership applications are over here, and information about joining CONA. And of course, we're closing down on the year. So our new invoices for January will be out in January. I want to let people know that Ann Kaplan is in rehabilitation. She suffered a really severe injury recently, and she was supposed to be our person of the year that we were having our annual party around, and of course we had to postpone the party. She's doing better. She's going to take a long rehabilitation. At the moment she doesn't want visitors, so until you hear from us that she's available for even telephone calls, I'll let you know. We have a survey on the reception table regarding 5G. We're trying to assess how our members and the people that attend CONA, what their comfort level is with understanding the issues around 5G. And so we're trying to assess whether or not it's worth having a meeting on it. If you'll just give us a check mark in one box about how you feel about it, so we can assess that.
How about a show of hands?
I'm sorry?
How about a show of hands?
I get more information off of the survey that I can adapt. Our meeting agenda is on December 13th. We're going to have the Neighborhood Pointers program presented to you, and that's a county program. It's brand new. And in a minute, I'll have somebody up here to talk about the program for you, just briefly. On January 10, we're going to have Ready for 100 renewable energy. On February 22nd, which is off of our meeting schedule would have had our meeting on Valentine's Day, and we found nobody really wanted to come out to CONA for Valentine's Day. I don't know why, but so we've adjusted that. And on the 21st of February, we're going to have neighborhood concerns about short-term rentals, and that's the Airbnb issue and all of the initiative to change rentals in neighborhoods. On March 20th, we're going to have a special meeting with John Thaxton and Steve Swa to discuss some issues. And now I'd like to bring up, I guess Ben would be the best one to start off with. in order to discuss the issue for his neighborhood.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you, Kathy. I'm Ben Cannon. I'm the president of the Riverwood Court HOA, and we are conveniently located right behind Bath and Racket and Trader Joe's. So, I'm sure many of you have heard me mention this before, the issue down there, bear with me, but next week is when it's going in front of the planning board. That's the city planning board, so City Hall, next Wednesday, 6 p.m., in a quasi-judicial setting. We, the citizens, can speak for 3 minutes and give our points on the proposal that is before us, and that is all wrapped into one, comprehensive plan amendment, condo rezone, and commercial use. What they're proposing is to change what is there now, put in various condo buildings up to 70 feet tall, is what they're requesting, and do it in a medium density. That's an RMF4, 25 units an acre, and it's a 13.5 acre lot. And they want to put that next to the existing single family dwellings, or 2.5 density, adjacent to 25 unit density. Zero compatibility, but that's what they're going to discuss next Wednesday at 6 o'clock at City Hall with the planning board meeting. So we will be presenting our arguments as the opposition, and it'll be interesting to see what the planning board does at that time. Will they recommend or not recommend? And of course, after that, it will go to the city commissioners for vote as well. So this gentleman has a quick question. Yes, sir?
It's a comp plan change?
Comprehensive
And a
plan
rezoning.
amendment, and a rezone, and a commercial use, because they want to switch it from commercial to residential to go to build all those high-rise condos, and then at the same time operate special events, tennis events as well.
This is behind the tennis club?
Behind Trader Joe's.
Oh, it's between the Trader Joe's and the tennis?
It is the
No,
tennis.
It is the tennis club?
Yeah, Bath and Racket Development Corporation
Oh, I see.
is the applicant. So we actually support the members, the club members. Many of them would like to continue the club without a rezone. We support that. And we actually support less extreme development, just not what is being proposed as submitted.
They're gonna tear down the health club.
No, they want to use the footprint. They want to remove about 60% of the tennis courts and then add 500 new members, which makes little sense. We suspect that eventually they'll say, well, you know, this tennis thing just isn't working out. We want to build some more condos, and we don't obviously support that. Thank you for the question. Yes?
Will you or your HOA be presenting?
We need your question on the microphone in order to get it on the videotape.
Will you or your HOA, as affected parties, be having a longer presentation?
We hope so. We have hired a planner, Jeanne Dubi, to represent our HOA as well as the Mill Terrace residents and the neighborhood as a whole, as I have collected over 400 signatures in opposition on petition. So it will be interesting on Wednesday at 6 o'clock to see how that plays out.
In the meantime, do you have on a website or contacting you any kind of bullet list or anything that anyone that wants to speak could work off of?
This woman is not a plant. These are great questions.
I just went to
What a great
South
segue.
Gardens
South-
and Orchestra. I know
Yes,
that-
I created a Facebook group. It's called South Sarasota Strong. You can go there. It's just a lot of information over this almost 2 years that we've been involved with this. And yes, I will have some bullet points there and some suggestions, and your comments are welcome as well. Again, it's South Sarasota Strong on Facebook.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to introduce Monet Moore. who's with the County Neighborhoods Department now.
Hello everyone, how are you all?
Great.
Hi, I'm Monet Moore and I'm with Neighborhood Services with Sarasota County.
Microphone.
So I'm Monet Moore, I'm with Sarasota County Neighborhood Services, and as a few of you have grabbed off of the table as you entered, I have two things with me today. The first is what we're launching called Neighborhood Pointers, which Ms. Kathy went over that we'll be presenting more on December 13th. And then you also have a second postcard that says, "Hey Neighbor." So I'm just here briefly to talk about a few of the programs that Neighborhood Services offer. So you'll see that we have a neighborhood directory, and we'd love for you and your neighborhood to register. And that's way we can always stay in contact with neighbors and then stay up to date with who's on the board and who's not. So just in case we have to notify you all of anything, we have a way to get directly in contact with your board. We also have Civics 101, which some people in this room have already attended, which is a great class in order to get better or become more knowledgeable about the operations of Sarasota County and the services that we provide. And then the last thing you'll see on this grant, on this postcard, is the grants program, which is a matching grant up to 10K. So your neighborhoods are more than welcome to apply, and that could be for anything for, say, a lot of our popular projects include landscaping, it'll include emergency preparedness and things of that nature. So you'll see our website here, which you can go to and you can read more about all of the services that we offer. And then our newest program, which I mentioned earlier, is the Neighborhood Pointers, and that's just the way that we can help neighborhoods implement parts of the comprehensive plan for Sarasota County. So as you look over your brochure, you'll see a lot of different ways that you and your neighbors can get a little more involved. And then if you're interested in them, you can start knocking some of these things on this roadmap out and just let us know what your neighborhood is doing, because we'd love to know. And then the points you earn, you'll be able to redeem them and participate in things like the Minnesota Summit that we have coming up in February, and different events that we'll be hosting throughout the year, such as like our Sustainable Communities Workshop.
Well, thank you. And as I said, they're going to be giving a program on the 13th of December. And somebody asked me about the January date. It's the 10th, and it's on the Ready for 100 Renewable Energy. I'm going to bring up Becky in order to talk about the Rural Heritage Comp Plan Amendment proposal. You do need to use our microphone. You can move around if you want, but
Okay.
okay.
I have a good projecting voice, but,
Yeah, but I
don't
need it
have
on the
for
video.
the video. I got you.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you very much for letting me come this evening. My name is Becky Ayech, and I live in Old Myakka with the I, not with the Y. The Y people are different. That's Manatee County. The I people, they're Sarasota County. We're the better. Some people call us Old Myakka to distinguish us from Myakka City. So we'll go either by Old Myakka or Myakka, just as long as you spell us with the I, because we get really distraught when you confuse us with Manatee County. Old Myakka is a community that was founded in 1850, so we've been around longer than Sarasota County has. I made a presentation the other night, and someone did, I thought, a good analogy. They said that Old Myakka is a community sort of like Pinecraft is a community. Been there for a long, long time, has a certain lifestyle that is unique to that particular area, and therefore should be treated in a manner that is unique. So, the Myakka Community Club has been around since 1945. And from 1945 until 2019, we've done everything that we can to keep the country country. Our motto is conservation and preservation of the rural area. So what we did in a comprehensive plan amendment is nothing different than what we've been doing throughout the history of this organization, because we love our community as I'm sure all of you all do, we just have a much longer history. And so we want to keep it rural. So just to give you, I don't want to get in the weeds on things, but I don't want to gloss over things that you might not know. So I'm going to start off with the comprehensive plan in Sarasota County is the overarching document that sets out the way that the county wants to grow and how they're going to manage that growth and how they're going to take care of their environmental systems and traffic and sewer and water and all of those things. And then underneath the comprehensive plan is what's called the UDC, or the Unified Development Code. It used to be called zoning, and then it was land development regulations, and they put them both together. Okay? So on the comprehensive plan, this overarching document, in 2000, Sarasota County embarked upon a process that they called the 2050 plan. And it went on for 2 years, and they took information from all kinds of people. But what they didn't accept was that the people that lived in Old Myakka wanted to stay rural. And so they adopted it. I challenged it. I challenged it too broadly. I should have limited it to a smaller area. In 2004, they took the hearing officer's recommended order and proceeded with 2050, but they did a plan for Old Myakka, a community plan for Old Myakka. They recognized that we were unique. We were like Pinecraft. All the other hamlets that were part of this 2050 design, they weren't like us. In fact, most of the areas where hamlets can be developed, no one lives. Like High Hat Ranch can have some hamlets, Schroeder Manatee, but this is where we lived. And as I said, since 1850. So we did a community plan. It went from what you know as Lorraine Road, but it's Dog Kennel Lane, and it went all the way out to the east of the county, and it went north to Highway 70, and it went down to Myakka River State Park. And our plan said that we wanted to keep it rural with a density of 1 unit per 5 acres as the highest allowable maximum density, and that we would allow commercial development if it were agriculture in nature. So, for example, if it were a vet, or if it were beekeeping, or if it were a plant nursery. Those were things that were consistent with who we are and what we are. So the county in 2007, the plan was completed. They had a resolution. They took our plan. We thought that our corner of the world was protected. That's what happens when you think. Okay. So in 2015, along comes a development that wants to be a hamlet, and I'm going to do like a sidebar for a minute about what hamlets were proposed to be. A hamlet was going to be a 1,000-acre development with 1 unit per acre cluster, and the space around it was going to be open space for agriculture. Now, what I did find out when I challenged the county's plan is that they first never went and asked any agricultural people if they were going to utilize the land, because 1 unit per 1 house per acre is an urban lifestyle. It is not a rural lifestyle. And they have problems with the things that we do and the noise that we make. But no analysis was ever done of that. That didn't matter, nor was there any analysis done of the economics that we provide. That, the consultant said he wasn't asked to look at that. So that wasn't considered, okay? So this hamlet comes in, and it's 400 houses. That's the maximum allowable density. It was supposed to be between 50 and 150 with a little bit of commercial development. I told everybody the commercial had to be drug runners or gun sellers. In order to survive with 50 to 150 homes, you got to be doing something that makes a lot of money. A lot of money, okay. So it came in with 400 houses on 400 acres which is even less than 1 house per acre because the roads and the sidewalks make it even smaller than that. And it's surrounded by 600 acres of stormwater ponds, which can also be the open space. So while the pictures that they showed us showed 50 to 150 with green all around it, what we got was 400 houses with mosquito breeding stormwater ponds. And if you have ever been out to the most beautiful place in the universe, Old Myakka, you know that the mosquitoes will carry you away because we live next to Myakka River State Park and they don't spray. And so, neither do we. We do get a plane every once in a while that comes over. But, so when we saw that this is what happened with this hamlet, we said, you know, that hamlet designation still is not good for us out here. And we had had an email from Commissioner Thaxton that said that our community plan, once it was finished, was supposed to be the criteria that was used to determine if that hamlet and how it was being developed was appropriate or not. Well, we never said we wanted 1 unit per acre surrounded by stormwater ponds. We said 1 unit per 1 house per 5 acres, maximum density. So we looked and said, you know, we got to find a way that codifies what our plan said and to make the new commission see what our plan said. And so we decided that we would propose a comprehensive plan amendment. And our comp plan amendment did not change any language. It just changed the color on a map. And it made it go from pukey purple to beautiful yellow. Yellow, yellow, yellow. What it is it's going from a hamlet designation with a maximum density of 1 unit per acre, and we're asking it to be rural heritage, rural estates, which is the maximum density of 1 unit per 5 acres, which is exactly what we had been promised all along. Now, I will tell you this, just because it shows promises. We had a commissioner named Mabry Carlton, 1985. He stood out in front of our old schoolhouse and told us that there would never be urban development east of I-75. So we said, well, you know, we need to do this comp plan because we want to preserve that community of Old Myakka. And this is the vehicle that we think is the best way to do it. So what is the process? The process is that you pay $5,000 to file it. So we went down, paid our $5,000. They said, no, you don't own it, so you don't have to pay $5,000. You need to get 20 signatures of registered voters who live or own business in the unincorporated part of Sarasota County. We said, okay. In less than 24 hours, in fact, in 18 hours with sleep for 8, we got 67 signatures, 47 which panned out. We ultimately ended up supplying more than 600 signatures. So we met with the county staff. We explained what it was that we wanted to do. They told us that we needed to write it up. We did. And they made comments on what they could. Their comments were favorable about what we said. They couldn't make comments on many things because it needed a more in-depth study, and that wasn't the purpose of this initial review. So after they did that, they sent it to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission looked at it and they slam dunked us. All of them voted against us. And they seemed to have a problem with the fact that it only required 20 signatures. Well, I didn't write the law. I didn't vote the law in. It's their law. Okay? So when we went in front of the Board of County Commissioners, and remember, all we're asking for at this point is for the county to direct staff to process our proposed amendment. When we went in front of the Board of County Commissioners, we showed them what their regulations were. We showed them that we complied with everything that they require. They voted in our favor. They directed staff to initiate our proposed amendment as a Sarasota County Comprehensive Plan Amendment. It's a public amendment. It's in the county's hands. The staff will review everything that we said. And this was the first time, as I said, anybody ever did this. So they really didn't know exactly what to do with us. But they've done well by us and been very, very helpful along the way, not negative or positive, but factual, giving information that we needed to have so that we would be able to do the right things, appropriate things, follow the criteria. So with that said, we are now in the process of being reviewed by Sarasota County staff, and it's very, very exciting. We're very excited about it. So what can you do to help us? Oh, before I tell you that, I want to make one other point. Single member districts, whether you love them or whether you hate them, I'm not here to talk to you about them either way. But what I do want to emphasize to you is that we need everybody from every district to sign our cards, to take our signs, and I have more signs, so that every commissioner from every district knows that we want to keep the country, all right? So we have these postcards, which are really cool, got a baby on it. On the back, it gives everybody's emails, tells you what we want you to say. Be sure and emphasize that you're a registered voter. When you finish with it, because we're paper conscious, you hand it to somebody just like a business card, and then they can use it, and then they can pass it on and pass it on and pass it on. Now, why do you even care about us? Well, here's the first thing. We are high. We're higher than anybody in the county, and we're wet. So if they fill it in, it's coming your way. We don't have any stormwater systems out there except ditches, and they're very rarely cleaned out. And that's okay by us. We're fine with that, okay? The next thing that you need to know is that all economic studies that were done, particularly one the county commissioned, was the Tischler report. It showed that we generate more money than services that we get. So for example, we don't have stormwater, we have booze. We don't have sewers, we have septic tanks. If they don't work, we take care of it. We don't call the county because we know we have a problem. We have wells, so we supply our own water. So we're pretty much self-sufficient, but we get taxed just like you all do. So we subsidize you. And if we quit subsidizing you because development comes out there at 1 unit an acre, who's going to want to have all these services, and even if they're fiscally neutral, you've taken out all us 1 unit per 5 acre folk that were giving you money. And so you'll either have to pay more in taxes, or you'll have to get less in services. So that's another reason. The best reason, I think, is that, you know, I have to drive to town to come to these meetings. Thank you for having me, but oh my gosh. I have straight hair. But when I come to town, I'm telling you, everybody likes to drive out in the country because you get that moment when all of those things pass away, all those stresses pass away, and you get to look and you get to see and you get to relax. We don't charge you for that. A psychiatrist would charge you for that. We do not. We give you that for free. We offer a lifestyle that needs to be part of Sarasota County. For years and years, Sarasota Comprehensive Plan had that we had food and fiber in the comp plan, the first part of the introduction. We were about food and fiber and all that other stuff, but food and fiber was important. That's no longer in our comprehensive plan. We, as I said, 1850, a rural community, an agricultural community. We're proud of it. We want to preserve it. We want kids, if it's not our own children, but other children to come out. 4-H kids can come out on people's farms and see animals that they can't see in town and have experiences that they can't have in town. Another thing that we do that people don't think about, but our zoning allows all those dump trucks that nobody wants anywhere. You can have it on 1 unit per 5 acres. We actually worked with the county to get that as an allowable use rather than a special exception because there's no place else for them to go. And they all lived out in our community because that's the only place the people that take care of your lawns generally live out in the country because they can have their trailers, their trash, their trucks, their signs. So we provide that as well. So there's a lot of things that go on because of us that people may not think about. And so we want you to think about them. And we want you to help us. And we want you to help us again by putting a sign in your yard, by filling out one of our postcards that goes to the county commissioners that ask them to accept